Hey y'all, this is AL Thick Madame, and this is the recap review for Tyler Perry's Sistas. So the episode started out with us seeing Zach trying to figure out why he was arrested. Come to find out, somebody is claiming that he is the father of a child that is 3 years old that he owes 3 years of back child support on. He's in the rears. He's saying he don't know who this woman is they talk about. That man was like, well, she definitely knows you. We have a picture of the child. Jake, who is that man who works under Gary, is there. And he was like, well, that child sure do look like you. And so he was like, man, I don't know nothing about all this. Like, I ain't got no child. Like, why now? Like, of course he's trying to see why all this stuff coming out of nowhere. Because, in real life, that's how a lot of this stuff pop off. You got something going for yourself, then everything in the world come out of nowhere. It's like, wait a minute, where was all of this when I ain't have nothing? Back then you didn't want me, now I'm hot, you're all on me. But yeah, I'm just like, what? So now he's kind of glad that Jake did not contact Fatima and have her come down there. But at the same time, in my mind, I'm like, she's been through a lot. And, it's 50-50 as to how she would have taken it. But at this point, she in there. She locked in. And again, this is another situation that if it ends up actually being a child that's his and not some ploy or something that's going on, Fatima will probably be there and to help him navigate it. But yeah, he over here and trying to figure out what's going on. And they like, look, you can get out now and spring yourself for like $37,000. And he was like, what? Because that's how much the rears are, I guess. And so he was like, man, I ain't trying to come up off of all of that. And he was like, I ain't got the money on me, the money in my safe. And I'm the only one who has the combination. And the actual safe is at Fatima's house. So he was like, Jake had the audacity. Y'all, I was so tired. I was like, what? Jake had the audacity to be like, well, you could trust me. You give me the combination. I can go over there and go get the money out. What? Who are you? He just met you yesterday. At this point, he just met you yesterday. What are you talking about? The audacity. The audacity. So then, after he gonna look at Zach like, what? Dang, I thought we were boys. Okay, don't nobody know you like that. He just met you yesterday. Like, I don't even think he's known this man a whole month yet. You think he's finna let you roll up in somebody else's apartment to go and retrieve money and trust you with it, despite the fact of whatever you do for a living, sir? Whatever. Don't nobody know you. No. So anyway, he was like, well, apparently I trust you more than you trust me. How about I actually use my money to get you out right now, and then you just pay me back? And so he was like, you would do that for me? He was like, yeah, because apparently I trust you and you don't trust me. And so he was like, well, isn't it after 4 o'clock? Because that first they were talking about doing a wire transfer, and they were like, yeah, it is. And then they told us, well, we could do money orders and all this other stuff. So old boy is supposedly gonna go and use his own money to spring Zach and all this stuff, and Fatima don't know nothing about it. So all this going on, we end up seeing Danny and Andy link up. And I guess it's called the Olive Bar. And I'm just like, you're gonna see why I feel this way. So they done linked up, and so she over here like, oh, okay, so what's going on? What you want to talk about? Because it's obvious that you want to talk to me about something. And she was like, oh, well, we just want to hang out. I just want to hang out with girls. And so she was like, yeah, we normally don't do this unless it's us, all of us. It don't never be like me and you. Like, it's been a long time since it's just been like maybe me and you hanging out. Like, what you mean? To make a long story short, she wanted to talk to Danny because Danny is very logical, and when everything has popped off with her in this relationship with Gary, she has been straightforward with her, and she has been like, look, do what you want to do, but at the same time still telling her, yeah, if I feel some type of way about the situation, I'm gonna let you know that I ain't here for it. And so she basically was like, girl, do what you want to do, because you're gonna do what you want to do anyway. You know what I'm saying? For you to learn that he is not good for you, you probably are going to just have to be with him, which is sad. But I'm just like, girl, I don't want to be in a suffocating situation to finally realize, okay, yeah, maybe I don't need to be with this person. Everybody been telling me this for the longest, and he's proven to me I don't need to be with him. But let me just go back and go over here and just get choked out some more. Let me go over here and get suffocated some more. Like, let me like really die this time, and then maybe I learn then. Girl, But yeah, she was like, I know why you want to talk to me. And it's because I'm the one who always tells you like it is. And you already know that am going to, tell it like it is. And you don't want to just hear Karen's side because, Karen is talking to you like, girl, don't do it. You need to leave him alone. But I'm going to tell you, you can do what you want to do. But at the same time, if you ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you, no, I don't think you need to be with him. And I'm glad that she is at least saying that part because instead of thinking with her, whatever, with greediness in her heart because she does want that apartment. She looking at it like, okay, this health is my friend. She dumb. She dumb, but I don't want to see her go out like that. But she's gonna make up her mind and do what she want to do. And more than likely it's leaning in the direction of her giving him another chance. But girl, go off. So anyway, they talking and she like, you gotta do whatever you gotta do. But no, I don't think you need to be with him no more. Because she straight up asked him, like, do you think I should give him another chance? Girl, no. This man tried to kill you. And he stayed disrespecting you. And the way that y'all started off was wrong. So you all should have known it was going to be some foolishness anyway. But anyway, while they in the middle of talking, we see Preston roll up. And he has a date on his arm. And so I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's like Atlanta is small. But it's like, child, how is everybody going to the same place? Like, no. So anyway, she wanted to talk to her and was like, okay, so what is going on with this? Like, I thought y'all was together with her. She was like, I mean, it is what it is. He could do what he want to do. Like, and so she was like, well, I'm going to talk to him. Because she was like, don't go over there and talk to him. She was like, no, I'm going to go and talk to him. And I was like, girl, no. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Do what you got to do. But anyway, so then we end up seeing Maurice get home after finding out that Q over there. And so Calvin at the house tired of his spirit. Like, you need to get this man up out this house. And he is not believing that he did not invite this man to the house. He was like, I didn't invite him. Like, where he at? He was like, he in your room. So he was like, what you mean he in my room? He was like, he's in your room. So they both go into Maurice's room. And this fool on the bed, butt naked. And Maurice over here trying to compose himself. And it's like he is just caught in between how he should feel. And I'm just like, all because this man is great at sex. I'll be understanding how the sex is that good to people that they just are like, you know what? Let me accept this toxic foolishness because the sex is so good. It ain't even love in this situation. Ain't no love going on. I understand people being so deep in love with a person that they are stuck and they are stupid in love. I understand that you are stupid in lust. I don't get it. But anyway, this fool oiled up on the bed and I'm just like, how you just go? This man that told you over and over again, he told you before you ever even signed paperwork with the possibility of getting out, don't roll up, don't use my address, no, you can't stay with me. And he proceeded to put that man's information on the paperwork and then rolled up on him while he was at his job, talking about, oh, well, I'm going to go over there. And he was like, yeah, don't go to my house because I done already told you. So don't go to my house. And then he still proceeded to go over there. Child, don't nobody have time. This man almost lost his job. You held these people up. You robbed him basically twice. Like, you raking him over the coals and you think he's supposed to give you another chance. Like, child, don't nobody care. And you are a hobosexual so that you can make sure you have somewhere to stay, so that you can have somebody to use. Go somewhere and sit down. Please go somewhere and sit down. There are so many jobs out here hiring people who are like you, even though you was out here stealing, being a thief. There are plenty of places out here that really do still hire people like him. So it's like, you can't say, oh, I ain't got no job. Go to you should have went to the halfway house. That's what you should have did. That's what you should have been doing. was saying, well, just sign me up for the halfway house. Even though I've heard horror stories, it is what it do what you got to do. Since you want to act like you about that life, you want to act like you was about that life. You understand what the consequences are. I don't want to hear nothing about, you know, a lot of people don't understand the way I grew up. And I don't want to hear that. Do what you're going to do. So anyway, Maurice trying to get his life together, and he almost was about to fall for this man. He keep trying to tell him to get out of his house. Please get out of my house. Everything he trying to throw at him, he like, look, you need to get out of my house. He done finally got out of his room to go and talk to Calvin. And he was like, okay, so he was like, yeah, I done got him together. He gonna get out, but I need to go take a shower. This fool talking about he need to go take a cold shower. So anyway, he done went in the bathroom and turned on the shower. And Q came out and he talking to Calvin, and he was like, man, I really need to stay here. Like, and he was like, well, they ain't got nothing to do with us. So do what you gotta do. You gotta bounce. You better get on up out of here. So he was like, man, that's messed up how you do me like that. You over here stealing, sir. Don't nobody want to hear your sob story. So anyway, we end up seeing Karen at the shop after hours and Pam on the phone. So she gets the lowdown on who this woman is that has been coming around the shop asking about Zach. Find out that she's a police officer and all this other stuff. So she was like, oh my gosh. So Karen ends up calling Zach. Zach obviously does not answer the phone because he is already in custody. And so she was like, oh my God, I gotta go over to his place. And so she like, girl, what? He ain't answering the phone, and you gonna go over to his place? Girl, So anyway, this heifer really finna go over to his house. So then we see Andy and Danny still talking to one another. And so she was like, I mean, are you sure you're gonna be all right or whatever? And so she was like, yeah, just leave me your card, because she promised to pay for dinner and all that stuff. And she was like, yeah, I got a couple of more drinks I'm gonna get, I'm gonna take some for lunch tomorrow. I'm like, ma'am, not the alcoholic beverages. You gonna get some alcoholic beverages to go. I'm tired. So anyway, after Andy left, she proceeded to drink the rest of her martini and then walk over and be like, oh, hey, oh my gosh, what's going on here? It's just so funny running into you. And so before Preston even turned around, he was like, oh. I was like, no, not you acting like you tired of your spirit of her. So then the woman turned around too and was like, oh, so y'all know each other? And so she was like, yeah, or whatever, child. Then Danny know the woman because they've worked out together at some gym. And then apparently Zach introduced the two of them. And so she like, what? Oh my gosh, is Zach really? Oh, okay. So again, this is a whole nother Zach situation again. So it's like, how is Zach introducing him to all these random heifers? What is going on? Is somebody lying in this instance? Like, what's going on? But anyway, so they talking back and forth, and the woman trying to understand if she's caught in between some foolishness. Like, who are these people? Like, are y'all together? Like, what is really going on? And so she over here trying to read him, was like, oh, what y'all talking about? Cows and all this other stuff. And so she was like, no, we're actually talking about music and politics. And so she was like, oh, so like bluegrass country. And so she was like, no, like Biggie and Tupac or something like that, she said. And so she was like, what? Rap, R&B and all this other, what? She over here looking befuddled. Like, what you mean? What you mean? But yeah, she, was over here trying to make it seem like everything is fine. And she putting on a nice little smile. And child, it's just a mess. I'm just like, girl, stop. Danny, I just cannot with Danny. Girl, this man lived for you and you let him walk out of your life. And instead of talking, you just decided, let me choose violence and just create these narratives as if this man is really out here trying to try me as a black woman living in America when he was not. So anyway, back to Calvin and Maurice. They at the house, and Maurice came out the bathroom with the same clothes he had on instead of butt naked or with a towel on. And so he was like, really? I thought you were taking a shower. He was like, yeah, I just turned on the shower and until he left. And so he was like, well, did he leave? He was like, yeah, he is down on the steps. And so, of course he over here trying to read him and was like, man, you need to do what you need to do. Don't nobody have time for this. And why do you keep dealing with him? You seem to care about him and whatever, whatever. And he was like, what's going on? Do you want him? He was like, what? So of course he's trying to deflect and tell myself, oh, what happened? Your vibrator went out? Sir, you're doing a lot. He is so stupid. So he leaves because he trying him. He's supposed to be like going out on a date with Sabrina later on. And so Sabrina is at home and she gets a knock on her door from Danny. And Danny is, wanting to come over and vent. And she's talking to her and she's like, yeah, me and Andy met up. And so she was like, huh? So she's even confused because, like I already said to y'all before, they don't just link up together and that's it. It's usually Andy and Karen linking up, or everybody linking up, or just the two of them linking up. So it's like, huh? So she was like, girl, you know why she wanted to meet up with me. She was like, oh, because of Gary. Oh, okay. So anyway, after they talked about that, she was talking about the fact that he came over to the place. And so she was like, what? And so she's confused. Like, she was like, why? Why is this even happening? And she's really trying to make it seem like, okay, why? I don't understand why Zach hooked her up with him and, oh, I'm going to get him. And I'm like, this could not have been recent that he introduced them, if this even happened at all. Like, this could not have been the case because he too busy getting that house together. He too busy all up and through Fatima. What is we talking about? So I'm like, huh? Like, how long ago could this have been? Like, if there's any truth to it, I'm not buying it. I don't believe it. I don't know what's going on. So anyway, the two of them still talking. And then she was talking about how, this guy wanted to talk to her and he came by and he ended up setting it off at the job by coming by, and like he went to all the locations, and so he found the location that she worked at because he wanted to ask her out and all this other stuff. So she ended up Danny ended up canceling the plans that she potentially was going to have with Calvin, and ended up texting old boy and was like, yeah, can we link up tonight or whatever, and told her, don't do it. Don't do that. What are you doing? What are you putting in there? She ended up telling the man to meet her at one of his places, which is like her favorite place, which I guess is the Olive Bar. And so he was like, that's fine. Like, he just was going to put all of his plans to the side for her because he lived for her. It is what it is. Like, he really lived for her. So we end up seeing Andy, and she's contemplating, calling or texting Gary. And then we see Robin call her, and he's on a flight headed back to Atlanta. So she was like, oh, you're on a plane again? And he was like, yeah, I'm heading back to Atlanta now. I should be there, within the next few hours. So he wants to know if she want to, get a drink, grab a drink or something. So she was like, no, not tonight. And so he was like, okay, well, what about tomorrow? And she was like, oh, that may work. So he was like, okay, I don't like that you sound different. Something must have changed. And so she was like, no. I'm just like, girl, it's the lies for me. But anyway, they talking and doing what they doing. And Gary wants to meet her for dinner. And so she got to tell herself, it's just dinner. It's just dinner. Girl, bye. You got to do all of this. You already know it's not just dinner. Girl, bye. So anyway, Fatima roll up to the house and to Zach's house. Let's be specific. Roll up to Zach's house, and Karen is outside waiting. Like, she's standing outside, just standing there at her vehicle. And she rolled up, and she realizes her. She was like, hey, what's up? So she was like, I'm waiting for Zach. I need to talk to him about something important going on or whatever. So she never tells her what the situation was. So she was like, well, you can come in the house. So she was like, no, I'll wait on him. And so she was like, okay, well, I'll go get him. So anyway, did all of that. So she went in the house, and there are people in the house working on the house. 3 hours ago was when he was taken out of the house. They don't know why he was arrested, but they are under the impression that he's not going to pay them. And so she was like, what do you mean if he's still around? Because they basically were like, well, yeah, y'all should be able to be up in here about a weekend or whatever. Like, they really working hard on the house. And so she confused as to why they're saying that because he has gotten arrested. So when she found that out, she was like, "What? Are you serious? Like, why?" So he was like, "Well, that's one thing I don't know." But for some reason, they don't think they're going to get paid. And I'm like, child, okay. So anyway, Fatima come back outside and was like, "Well, Zach isn't here." So I was wondering if she was going to say anything. Neither one of them said anything. And I'm like, girl, the only one who knows what's really going on right now in this moment is Fatima, as far as the fact that he has been arrested, but she don't know why. So at least she's being cool, calm, and collected about it. But Karen is like, "Well, if he don't want to see me, that's all he got to say. If he don't want to talk, that's all he got to say." She was like, "You are welcome to come in the house and see for yourself that he's not here." She was like, "Well, his car is right there." She was like, "I'm trying to tell you he ain't here." And I don't understand why the dots didn't connect for her to be like, "Well, dang, maybe somebody pulled up and got him, or, something else could have happened." Like, no dots were being connected. But anyway, she done sat up here and got in the car and then rolled off, whatever. So I'm like, child, don't nobody have time for this foolishness. But yeah, Fatima tied in her spirit. She's trying to figure out what's going on. And that is what it is. So then we see Karen at the house. She get a phone call and she all huffing and puffing. And I'm like, who huffs and puffs? Because somebody who actually lived for you call you. She like, and you say you like him too, but you huffing and puffing. But he over here trying to see how you doing. Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a good day. And then he's expediting a situation because, of course, he wants to know whether or not he is the one who is the father of your baby. But you over here dragging your feet going to the doctor. So he was like, "I know somebody and I can get you in tomorrow. She's really good." And so she was like, "Well, I don't know if my insurance will cover all of that." And so he was like, "You ain't got to worry about that. I got you. Don't worry about that." And so, I'm actually shocked that she actually was like, "Okay, well, just pick me up from my salon in the morning." Because he was talking about, "I'm going to come and get you and take you." So she actually said she's going to go. So I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Can't believe that." So yeah, Sabrina linked up with an old boy. They end up sitting out the private part of the restaurant where they have like private like parties and stuff. I guess she never really been back there before because it's a nice little area. And so she was looking nice. She had a little sequence dress on. I'm like, okay. He was even here for it. He was like, "Oh, you look like what did he say? You look like a beautiful princess, queen, or something." Child, he'd have got his life. So he ended up giving her a glass of wine for her to try. I guess he let it breathe because it was already in the glass, I think. And so she was like, "Oh, this is delicious." He was like, "Yeah, it's my favorite wine." And so she ended up telling him that he could have some of it and all this other stuff. So they talking. They end up doing the cheers. And then we see over in the distance Calvin walking by. And I'm like, well, Atlanta is small, but I'm tired. There are so many different places to go. Why is everybody going to this restaurant? Why? Like, did he do research and know that this is this man's restaurant, one of his restaurants, and was like, "Let me go roll up on him," or something? Like, why would he just be there? And he knew, "Oh, there they go. Let me roll up." This fool done rolled up and was like, "Yeah, let's do a cheers to that." I was like, "Child, you done went off." Yeah, we're just gonna do a cheers to see how the date goes. And he done rolled up and he in here rolled up, laugh, yes, to seeing how the date goes. Sir, if you don't go somewhere and sit down, and she over here trying to explain stuff away, and we gonna see what happened next week. But I'm just like, be done with Calvin. I'm tired. And my thing is, it's not that the other dude is gonna be any better necessarily, but child, the way that he was like, "Oh, he got money." I was like, you do realize that a lot of the stuff that you do, you are the reason why people swear you are gay. You have to stop. Like, I cannot. I really can't. But anyway, yeah, y'all, that was the episode. Y'all, let me get my life together because I'm about to get gathered, cussed out, and some more. I hope that y'all enjoyed this review of Tyler Perry's Sistas, y'all. I have some other stuff that I need to upload. I got to tell y'all about my day. I had a what a day type of situation on my last day of work that I do need to talk to y'all about. So yeah. But anyway, y'all have a good one. I will see y'all later on. Blessings. Bye.